I'm Cynthia James, and this network is about changing lives one woman at a time. So welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I get the honor of introducing you to extraordinary women. I really believe this is a time for women emerging on the planet and that we have powerful voices and it's time to be heard. And so I'm grateful that you're here. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you can get a podcast, and just subscribe. I do these every week. And I guarantee you that you will be excited and inspired by the women that you hear. So my guest today is Sabrina Victoria. She is the creator and the CEO of Human Better 365, a human transformation company, and the creator of her Version podcast. She's a speaker, she's an entrepreneur, and author of Envision Your Best Life 90-Day Planner, and creator of Catapult Your Life in 365 Days. She is a self-proclaimed queen of time. She focuses on time management and organization as the foundation of life. So, Sabrina, welcome.
Hello.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited to talk about what you do. And, you know, one of the things that's fascinating for a lot of the people that I coach is that organization and time management is not their not their forte. But before we get into that, people think that successful people kind of have just occurred, right? Where did you come from? Where were you born? How did you grow up?
Oh, snap. Born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. I was there until I was about 21-ish years old. I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Probably around the age of 4, my parents were converted the cliche way. Someone came knocking on their door, and literally, yes, literally came knocking on our door. I was probably 3 years old. I had celebrated Christmas for 3 years, and some brothers and sisters came knocking on the door. They studied with my parents for a couple years, and by the time I was 5, they had converted and been baptized. So I was raised in that religion for my whole life.
Wow. So my son's best friend was Jehovah's Witness. And it was always interesting for him because he could never come to the birthday parties or the Christmas things. And so was it hard for you when your friends were celebrating all these other things and you couldn't?
You know, what's interesting is I belong to a lot of groups, like self-help type groups on Facebook that kind of help Jehovah's Witnesses kind of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses kind of move on with their lives and find their new why and what have you. Because when you're in that religion, your only why is spirituality. You don't look at anything else. You don't look at your health. You don't look at your relationships. You don't look at your happiness, your career, your education, nothing, just spirituality. And so when people start to step out, they're totally confused. They're like, I don't even know what to do because I've only been concentrating on one thing for my entire life. But so people, they go into different things. Should I celebrate the holidays? Should I not? Am I supposed to go back and get my education? Can I now get a raise at my job and like try to work really hard to become manager or supervisor or whatever? Myself, and there's a lot of times a lot of negativity that goes along with it. I had zero negativity. I had zero negativity while I was in it. I have zero negativity now that I'm out. I think that it actually gave me a sense of independence. I mean, we're so different. We're so different the whole time growing up. We didn't even stand up to salute the flag. So everybody's standing up to salute the flag every single morning, my whole life. And I had to sit in a chair and be totally the oddball out. Same with birthdays, same with Christmas, same with Valentine's, Easter, everything. I had to sit there, do nothing, sit there, do something else, sit there, go to the library. So I just kind of learned to be very independent. I learned that it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that same experience, but that's the way that I observed it.
Well, first of all, I love it. And you addressed something that I was thinking. It was like, well, what an incredible training to be an outside the box thinker and creator, actually.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to know, if are you still ensconced in a spiritual life?
I mean, that's a tricky question. I don't really talk about my spirituality a whole lot because it's so taboo. But because of the route that the journey that I have been on, I am scorned. I am scorned when it comes to God. I am scorned when it comes to church, organized religion. My story is a little bit different. I got pregnant when I was 20. And because of that, I wasn't married and I got totally chastised from the entire religion and my entire family. So I was basically put on the street. Now, my parents weren't like, initially, they were like, get out of our house, sinner, whatever, shame on our name. It's a whole thing that they go through. And when we kind of like molded over, then they kind of changed their mind and they were like, well, you could stay here. But at that point, I had already been like, my feelings had already been hurt. I already was embarrassed. I'm already like scared. I'm feeling worthless. I'm feeling sinful. I'm feeling like I sinned the worst sin ever to God. And I just felt shitty. I felt so shitty. So I left. And, father, there's a whole long story. I don't really want to get into it, but I could if you want, but it's long. But long story short, I ended up by myself with a baby. So no church, no friends, no family, no baby daddy, just me and my child. And had no college education because they teach you not to get a college education. You just give everything to God. So I'm stuck working a minimum wage job with no help, zero help. I'm getting eviction notices at my apartment door. My car is getting repoed out of the parking lot. I'm in like the worst state of mind ever. And I'm having to take care of a child by myself. I mean, the whole circumstance that happened to me and the lack of help that was given to me was so, like, just not fair.
No.
I mean, it just was not fair, basically. So it frustrates me. It really frustrates me. And I think that the hearts that we're given as humans, the empathy that we have as humans is sometimes in some religions turned off.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate. And that is not, I am sorry, but that is not the way that it's supposed to be. It's just not.
No. Well, and first of all, I just want to say, I am so sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
Because, the one thing that I think we all want to depend on is our families and our places where we can lean into and be supported. Mm-hmm. And so I think what you just described is why there's so many people around the planet who are so turned off around spirituality and religion and all that other stuff. But here's the thing. It's like, I mean, and I want to get to what you do, because what you do is in service. Mm-hmm. And what you do is to help people become self-sufficient and powerful. So out of that fire, mm-hmm. you emerged. Yeah, and so tell me about, what is Human Better 365?
So the entire premise of the company in general is all based around, and it sounds so like cold, but it's based around time management organization. And when I say that, I mean that in the most simplistic way. However, it's incredibly in depth. There's so many avenues in which we can put our attention on during our day. There's health, there's relationships, all of those. There's career, there's education, there's joy and happiness that's supposed to be encompassing everything somehow, even though we're stressed. And what I believe is that every single aspect of our life, all of it, is either at a 0 or it's at a 10. And anything that's at a 0 or, below a 10 basically is at that level because of a lack of attention, because of a lack of focus. So what I teach is, hey, listen, everyone has the same amount of time in a day, in a week, in a month. We need to figure out how to take your attention and put it across all of these avenues of our life by managing our time and organizing our day and organizing our physical world, organizing literally our physical home, our physical car, because sometimes we spend so much time trying to find stuff. We have something over here, to get ready in the morning, and we're going all the way across over here to finish getting ready. And then we're going, there's so much extra that's happening in and amongst our physical world and our mental world that's just not necessary. So what I do is I actually come in and I cut out all of the unnecessary things and we condense it so that we make sure that all of the areas of our life are actually being hit according to what's authentic to us and what's necessary in our world and the people that are in our world. And it's a whole program that I go through, mental, emotional, and along with physical.
That's incredible. And so this is online, this is in person. How does it work?
Yeah. So before COVID, everything was in person before COVID. We actually physically going to people's homes, or and obviously them also coming to me, but doing a total refurb of everything that's going on in their life and their family. Then COVID happened and I was forced to kind of go online. So as we speak, there are programs that are being built out in time management and procrastination. I also work heavily in the sobriety world. So I think we have 6 programs up right now that you can take, and it is growing, successfully through that. And then I also run the podcast, like you had mentioned, where we take, individuals, everyday individuals, females who have gone through challenges, who have gone through struggles in their life and have come out the other side, a brilliant, bright star. And we really talk about that. We break that down and we come up with the steps that they took to go from 0 to 10 and what that looks like. So there's a lot of different avenues that I'm, covering and building as we speak to get to a point where individuals can come, to this community and really have a total transformation.
That's incredible. And I'm so grateful that you're talking about this because, I do a lot of programs for women and they're brilliant. They're gifted. And this thing about time management and organization is the wall. They hit up against the wall. And so a lot of times they're afraid to admit this challenge that they've got and to take another step. So because you're going to be talking to all these women and you're sitting there thinking, I know I need to get organized. I know I need to stop procrastinating. What's the first step that you would invite them to take in terms of moving out of this place where they're locked?
So the first thing that I uncover, well, first of all, if we're talking actual coaching, the first probably 4 sessions are all based on emotional and mental health. So we have to figure out what's bothering you. We have to figure out, what's mentally and emotionally blocking you. But from then forward, the first thing I work on is procrastination. That's the biggest thing. People have so many things. Once we unblock it, we figure it out. What are the things that are causing you to feel heavy, to feel stressed? What are those things? And then why have you done nothing to try to overcome those things? And it all comes down to procrastination. So then I have 13, different avenues of procrastination and what those look like and how they pertain to you, how to get over them, how to catch yourself, how to be self-aware, and to really start, climbing the little mountain to success.
Well, this is all incredible, but I need to ask you, how did you go from single mothers struggling to survive to this CEO with the creator of all these programs? I mean, what was the catalyst? I mean, what helped you?
So I give a lot of my persistence to my son. So when I was caught in the world of basically no money and my car being repoed, my eviction notices on my door, I met a man who wound up abusing me for 13 years. So I fell into his arms because of lack of money. I thought that he was sent to me by God. He came in like a knight in shining armor and was taking me out to dinner and was saying all the right things. And I wound up moving in with him within a year. And within probably a year or two, he had totally taken over my entire life. He had convinced me to quit my job and work for him. He had convinced me to give up my phone and go under his phone plan, give up my computer, go with his computer, give up my job, give up my car and use his car. And I looked around after a couple years and I had nothing. I had no money. I had no phone. I had no car. I had no home. I had no job. Everything was connected to him. And if I wanted to leave, I would have nothing. So I was basically stuck. I was mentally abused, emotionally abused, sexually abused, financially abused for 8 years. And one day I was on the floor in the bathroom, bawling my eyes out from just feeling so broken. And I did one Google search that changed my whole life. I Googled, why is my boyfriend bullying me? And at that moment, the entire world of narcissistic abuse opened up to me. And I realized that my entire life was filled with narcissists on all levels. And I was giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and everyone was taking and taking and taking and taking. And I dove into, the first person I dove into was actually Joe Osteen, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, and I just dove headfirst into personal development. And I started to take my power back. I opened up a secret bank account. I opened up a secret storage unit. I started saving. I started making money under the table. Money was just getting flushed into the secret bank account. After 4 years, I had collected $50,000 and I was able to walk out. And the only thing that kept me going on, 4 hours of sleep, because I'm running my fiance's business at that time. I'm trying to run my business under the table. I have to keep up a certain persona physically. I'm taking care of my son. I'm getting beat down mentally, emotionally, and sexually every single day. I mean, suicide was on my mind literally daily. I went over this bridge every single day and with tears in my eyes and just feeling so broken. Almost every day I would think to myself, all I have to do is just tilt the wheel, just like this, just tilt the wheel. And I would have these thoughts by myself. I would have these thoughts with my son in the back seat, just wanting it to end. But I knew that there was hope. And that if I just kept doing the right thing, because all those people said, if you just keep doing the right thing, just do the next right thing and the next right thing and the next right thing, that eventually you'll get to the top. And I trusted them. I trusted all of them. And that's one of the reasons why I do the podcast that I do, is because people just need to hear that somebody else did it. They need to hear that somebody else was in a really bad situation and they just kept going, because they need to know, hey, if I just keep going, will this ever end? And that's what my story is. My story is, I just kept going. What is the next right thing? What is the next right thing? What is the next right thing? And after those 4 years, I literally dropped my car keys. We had 5 houses. Our companies were worth millions at that point. I dropped my car keys, my computer, my phone. I walked out with my son and my bicycle, and I started all over again.
Well, first of all, I just want to say to you, how courageous you are and how inspiring your story is. You know, you and I don't know each other, but I come from a pretty abusive childhood and a lot of insanity in my life until I decided to wake up and choose myself. So the fact that you're speaking this, and the fact that you are creating a platform for other people to speak it is quite beautiful to me. I would like you to tell people, how do they find you?
So I just guide everyone to my main website is sabrinavictoria.com. You can find everything there, my social media, all my podcasts, all my YouTubes, and all 4 of my companies. Sabrinavictoria.com.
Yeah, ladies, I hope you will check her out, especially if you're having any kind of challenge with time management, organization in your life, procrastination, or you just want to know how to get control of your space, your energy.
Exactly.
So, Sabrina, I ask every guest the same last question. What is the one thing you want women to know about the importance of their awakening?
There's no other way. There's no other way. If you choose to ignore it, I mean, you're basically dead. I mean, it's sad to say, but that's the truth. I believe that wholeheartedly. You
Yeah.
have to come to an understanding of who you are, and you have to become self-aware, and you have to work on your personal development, your personal growth. You have to figure out how your mind works. You have to dig into your past. You have to work on your inner child. And without that, you're lost. You're a zombie walking around the world, bumping into people and playing the victim.
Well, Sabrina, you are such an inspiration. Um, you're beautiful and you're smart and you're an innovator. And
Thank
so,
you.
ladies, I just want you to look at this woman and listen to this, listen to it again, even to remind you of possibility. Thank you so much for being here, Sabrina. I'm so
Thank you.
grateful.
Thank you.
So, ladies, let me just say this to you. I tell you every week, you're amazing. You're a masterpiece in the making. You're unique. You're powerful. You're dynamic. Nothing stands in the way of your freedom but you. And so you can step out and step up and bring your light to the planet because you're necessary and essential. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.